Hey guys, it's me, it's May to December, it's me, and I'm back again. And this time it's with the 1968 movie, the Ghastly ones, directed by Andy Milligan. And it's got a rating of 3.8 on IMDb. Now, going in, I didn't expect much, and by the time I finished it, I was sad I expected so much, even I expected so less of it. So here we go. Starts off with two people wandering around, and the guy says, "Hey, darling, I'm gonna walk off." So he walks off, and he gets his eye plucked out, like boom, like this, and his eye's ripped from the thing. And as he falls on the ground, because he gets killed by a hunchback guy, we hear the director, Andy Milligan, break the fourth wall by saying, "Cutting it now." And you go, "What did I just hear?" Yep, that's right. The director, you hear him all the way through the movie because he's really bad at editing. So as he dies, his girlfriend walks off, right? And there's this big, massive bush area in front of her. And instead of sitting with that behind her, she sits in front of it, puts her hand down on the floor like this. The hunchback guy turns up, looks around like doo 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 doo, and he chops her hand off, and for like 2 seconds, no response. And all of a sudden, it turns to her going, "Ah, ah," and she's squeezing her arms, so blood spurts out, and then she just falls dead. And you're like, this intro, phenomenal, right? Absolutely phenomenal. This is what we've got to look forward to. So, the main story is about three sisters. Their father has died, and they go to hear about the will, and they have to stay in this house because this is set during the Victorian time, I'm guessing, from what I saw. Even though it didn't, and most of it didn't look like that, even though they wore the clothing, which looked all right. So these three sisters, they're all three of them are married. They go to this will hearing, and as they're sitting there, this is what the guy says. He goes, "Your father says he didn't have a lot of love from your mother. So I want you to stay in the house for 3 days, having sexual contact and touching each other because your mother was frigid." Your mother was frigid. They all look at each other and go, "Poor dad, I never realised our mum was frigid." Hmm. So they go and stay in this house, which has these people who work there, one of them being a hunchback, one of them being really weird and had a voice like this. "Oh, I didn't mean to do this to him. Oh, I didn't want to hurt him." And this other one who seems fairly normal, right? And they say, "After 3 days, we'll get the trunk down from the act and then we'll decide what everybody gets," right? So at this point, you're like, okay, what's going on, right? What's going on? How are they going to do this? And you carry on watching, and people get killed in the most boring ways. There's sex scenes in the movie which are so awkward, and they're not real sex scenes. They're not like, "Oh, we're in bed rolling around, we're doing it," or anything. They're kind of like hinted at. And like there's scenes where, for instance, you'll have characters talking, and then all of a sudden it fades out to a completely different scene. Like there's a talking scene between two of the Hellboys talking about something in the movie, which I can't spoil. Right, and as they finish, it's kind of really kind of like, "Oh, that's not too good." As it finishes, it fades to a couple in bed talking. Right, so as they get killed, the pill get killed. You get less and less pill, obviously, but it doesn't really heat up to the last 20 minutes. When it gets to the last 20 minutes, you start getting a little bit more kills, a little bit more action, and when you get to the final part, you just sit there and you just laugh at it because it's so stupid. The way the killer gets, the killer ends, it's just really like, right, okay, why do you pay attention? How did this person do this when you did that to them? And you just kind of sit there going, yeah. Now, by the time the movie ended, I'd actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it was pretty good at the end, but the other hour, uh-uh. So the movie is 77 minutes long, and 60 minutes of it felt like a big waste of my time. 17 minutes of it, yeah, not too bad. So let's talk about it in more detail. The camera work, terrible. Right? There's scenes where the camera is like here, where you can't see them talking, right? You can just see their head like this. There's scenes where like this, and because of the low budget, there's a lot of tight scenes on the people, so you can't see what's around them. You know, and this Victorian house doesn't look very Victorian. You know, it has wallpaper on it, but looks very modern. And you know, the whole movie itself just has this really, really bad kind of atmosphere. Now, I get it's cheap. Andy Milligan, you know, we know he wasn't exactly made the money on his budgets when it comes to making the film, so you can let that go, you know. Same as Bill Rebane, Al Adamson, you know. But the film itself just isn't that fun. You sit there listening to conversation galore about absolutely nothing. One guy, married, his wife gets hysterical, she gets upset. What does he do? Right? Hits her, and then he feels like sex is going to comfort her. And that's very hard to watch. Now, Andy Milligan apparently was a very strange man, you know. Apparently, on the sets, when people asked him, or his actors and actresses asked him, how do you want me to do this? He'd say, shut up and just do it. All right? I don't need to explain to you what to do. You do it. All right? And then apparently after, when they messed up, he'd have a go at them and say, no, you didn't do it right. Yeah, a very interesting fella. I'm looking forward to reading and watching more of the special features, hearing more about him. But the movie was remade, I think 10 years later, because it's in the same set. So I think it was remade in 1978. I could be wrong, I could be off there. And apparently that film's even worse, even though it's shot for shot. That's supposed to be like an upgrade. So I'm looking forward to watching that, and I'm sure I'll review that as well with this. But my view is this, is the acting isn't great, but then what do you expect from a cheap movie? If you go in watching this, just expect it to be low budget, bad. There are some really fun bits in it, but most of it is just boredom, you know. So, you know, I'm sure, you know, if you're like me and you've been on this binge of really bad films, I said like Bill Rebane, you know, Al Adamson, Andy Milligan, then you know what you're getting into. But out of all of them so far, I feel like Andy Milligan's ones are not the best. Now, I've only watched one of them, and I've got 15 of them to watch, so I guess I'll be watching 15 and reviewing them. So, yeah, my rating at the end of this would probably be a 1.5 because I did get some enjoyment out of it. I felt like it could have been a lot better, obviously. But, yeah, it's not unwatchable. It's just tedious, and you just sit there going, please let something happen. You know, I didn't fall asleep in it, which was amazing considering how boring it was. The sound's bad, and the Blu-ray, the HD of it is awful because of all the scratches and that. And I noticed that with these type movies, they don't have the right elements to fix it up, so it's a bit hard really watching them on Blu-ray. But anyway, if you have watched the movie, let me know down below what you thought of it. And if you haven't, let me know if you've heard of it. And if you do watch it and you want to talk about it, let me know down below because I'd love to talk about it with someone. And as always, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.